the music, we can't afford the royalties to John Williams, so. And, you know, the introduction, I mean, that announcer was so great, how do I follow that? And when I entered, I just came upstairs. Let's do take two. Here's the entrance that you wanted to see. Showed who you, Mark Hamill, grew up to be. Are there events in your life that you found yourself thinking as Luke Skywalker? The fact of the matter is, Luke is like, he's representational. I mean, it's basically a fairy tale. So, you know, you have the farm boy, you have a princess, you have a pirate, you have a wizard, you have the evil, you know, malevolent force of Vader. So he's an idealized person. And I know that I couldn't be as selfless as Luke, I couldn't be as brave as Luke. Not only am I not a pilot, I vaguely don't like flying. You know, I'd rather be in my armchair at home, not wearing pants. The pandemic spoiled me forever. I'm telling you, I had so many meetings over Zoom. I said, you realize if this wasn't the pandemic, I'd have to get dressed, get in the car, drive over to the valley, to Universal, park the car, get a pass, go to the building, go up to the floor where we're having the meeting, wait until the meeting, to have the meeting, and then reverse that. 90 minutes each way just in travel and an hour for the meeting. So that's 4 hours. Now I'm having meetings where from the waist up, I'm dressed perfectly respectable. But I've got my red plaid flannel jammy bottoms. Nobody knows that. So, and then I started doing all these cartoons at home. Now I do this being with the cast. There's nothing like hearing other people's timing. If you're a musician, you want to hear other people's rhythms, what they're adding. As an actor, you go, oh, that's a line reading that you can respond to that you didn't think of yourself. Now, with someone like Kevin Conroy, I know his Batman so well. I then want to digress into the losses that we've had. From Carrie, to Kevin Conroy, to Arlene Sorkin, to my dog if he doesn't shut up. But I've retired from Joker only because I got to the point in my career where they call and they say they want you for Joker. I said, is Kevin doing it? And if they said yes, I'd say I'm in. I don't have to read the script. If Kevin's doing it, I'm doing it. They're doing a video and they want you to do the Jokers. Is Kevin doing it? No, it's so-and-so. I said, well, politely decline. Because over the years, we developed such a affinity for one another. Like I say, by the time we were doing the Arkham games, it was, that was a whole nother level. Because I remember we'd get fan mail when we did the original series saying, why doesn't the Joker kill more people? And I have to say, well, there's standards and practices. That's the censors for television, and it's a children's cartoon. So Joker could be, he was all bark and no bite. He could rage and threaten and do all these things, but he couldn't actually hurt people. You weren't allowed to, there were all these no-nos. No bodies going through plate glass windows, no direct punches to the face, no drugs, no alcohol, no sex or nudity. Bruce Timm one time drew a drawing, one drawing, you might have seen it on the internet, where he broke every single rule that I just listed in one drawing. Batman crashing through a plate glass window holding a naked Harley Quinn with a hypodermic needle flying off and a bottle of booze in her hand. How do you get the punch in? What I'm saying, it was just massively different when we got to the Arkham games. So the Arkham games, were recommended. Are you still interested? Okay. The Arkham games were for 16 and older. So that meant, in Mask of the Phantasm, we were able to have a death. Still, I think one of the best Batman strips I've ever read, and I mean the features as well, in terms of economy of storytelling. Not only do you tell this compelling story, but you see the origin of Batman woven into this story. I loved it. I just thought that was just one of the best Batmans ever. But by the time we got to the Arkham games, it was really, they did some stuff where I thought, oh, can we do this? I mean, wow, this is really extreme. But a lot of times, they would record me alone. But like I say, I could hear Kevin in my head. So just before I would respond, I'd hear in my head Kevin's voice and know exactly how he would sound. And when we lost him, I mean, I was just crushed. It was just a wonderful, wonderful man. And I met him more fully when we did conventions together, because when we went to work, we developed a relationship because we realized Batman and Joker need each other. There's an episode called The Man Who Killed Batman, written by Paul Dini, where Joker thinks that this small hood, played by Matt Frewer, killed Batman. He's just a two-bit nobody. And Joker totally loses it. His raison d'etre, his reason to be, is to kill Batman. And with Batman out of the picture, you know, he's moping around the house in slippers and, you know, Harley saying, come on, Puddin', go out and rob a bank, you know, it'll make you feel better. And that famous line, without Batman, crime has no punchline, which so defines the character. I said, no, I wish I'd warmed up a little bit. You gotta warm up to do the Joker, or it's like starting your car on a snowy day. If you just drive off, you're gonna really damage your engine. And like I say, I used to drive into the valley to do the animated series. So Luke died from an overdose of the Force. That's all right. He OD'd on the Force. They see a guy driving alone, laughing hysterically and talking to themselves. No big deal, right? I think I already said that. Oh, no, that was at the matinee. But a rabbi and a priest walked into a bar. No, wait a minute, that's my stand-up act. I'm sorry. Listen, it's been a long day. I've signed my name so many times today. I'm starting to question, wait a minute, are there two M's in the end? You know, it's just like automatic. And we discussed, one of my guys that's helping me was named Mark. I said, how do you spell it? He goes, the correct way, with a K. Because besides Mark Singer, I don't know a lot of Marks with a C, but I don't trust them. They should pronounce that name Mars. And I thought, when I started out as an actor, I wonder if I should change my spelling of Mark to M-A-R-Q-U-E. Is that a little pretentious? Maybe a little pretentious, yeah, okay. But no, we, like I say, Arkham Asylum is a whole different sort of thing. And, you know, before we get off people that we've lost, because, I mean, I still think of Carrie in the present tense. I'm sorry, you know, she's so alive in our hearts. She's so vibrant in her contribution when she was here. And I remember, I've told this before, it's funny to know, because, you know, they pull me aside and they'd say, Kirshner wants to meet you in your dressing room. It's like, uh-oh. You know, it's like going to the principal's office. They said, okay, remember in the script, when Darth Vader says to you, you don't know the truth. Obi-Wan killed your father. And we filmed it just like that. That's what Dave said. That's what everybody in the crew heard. And I did it just like you see in the movie. No, that's not true. That's impossible. Within 3 days, one of the extras who had heard that recording leaked to the newspapers, and on the front page in a little box it said, Guinness head baddie in Star Wars 2, because it hadn't been announced as Empire Strikes Back yet. And I was delighted because Kershner had pulled me aside. He said, okay, I'm going to tell you something. George knows, I know, and now you're going to know. So if it ever leaks, we'll know it's you. I go, what? We're going to take out Obi-Wan killed your father and have him say, I am your father. Again, I was just as shocked as anybody that saw it. I said, really? Is he really my father? He said, well, read the scene, because when he tells you, Obi-Wan killed your father, and I go, no, that's not true. Search your soul, you know it to be true. And Luke now, having vestiges of the Force, can look inward and go, he's not lying. So, at one point, I was the only one that knew, and I was really scared. Because I said, I talk in my sleep. What if Mary Lou hears and tells one of her girlfriends? But they told us one day, we want Carrie and you to come up to the office. We're going to tell you something. And so we're sitting there, and they said, okay. We're in the scene at the end of one of them. It must have been the third one. What was it? Return of the Jedi. We're going to reveal that Luke and Leia are brother and sister. And we were both stunned, and the first thing I said was, wait a minute. If Princess Leia is my sister, does that make me royalty? And Carrie, without missing a beat, went, no. I said, all right, I'm just asking. But she really relished being a princess, let me tell you. Because in real life, her father was Debbie Fisher and her mother was Debbie Reynolds. She really was Hollywood royalty in that community where, because my parents were Bill and Sue Hamill. Yeah, okay. So, but she was very protective of that. And I never let it go, for years afterwards. I'd always say, well, sure, let's see, Queen Amidala, Lord Vader, Princess Leia, come on, I've got to have some sort of title. She'd grind her teeth and say, Joe, you are so immature. Because I loved her, obviously, and she was hilarious, and I could make her laugh. Remember going back to leveling the playing field by making people laugh? I said to her, we would be back and forth like real brothers and sisters, or we could be as close as could be in spending time in each other's trailer, and then we have big fights where she says, I didn't want to talk to you anymore. Get out of my trailer. With pleasure. Slam the door, and we wouldn't speak for 3 or 4 days, and then like real brothers and sisters, what were we fighting about again? So she was someone, like I say, that touched us all, and maybe it's just not wanting to face reality, but to me, she's very much in the present. Kevin Conroy, the same thing. I realize now I don't have my partner and there's so many great jokers out there. There's, I don't know, half a dozen. I thought, wow, what a great version of I never thought of doing it the way Jeff Bennett does, or the way Kevin Michael Richardson does, or on and on and on, Michael Emerson. So many great versions. But I should go, but I'll have to tell you, I'll never forget when I first discovered Arlene Sorkin's contribution, because in many episodes, Joker would have thugs, sidekicks, yeah, boss, those types. And he had a female sidekick in one. She didn't even have a name. I think she was called Joker's Hench Wench, because there was Joker's Henchman 1, Joker's Henchman 2, Joker's Henchman 3, Joker's Henchwench. So it was a female, but not with no name. And Arlene comes in, and Paul Dini and her were close friends. He knew her work from the soap that she was on, and they had a relationship outside of just being, involved in the Batman thing. Anyway, we sit down to record, and she opened her mouth and came out with that vacant. It's like Judy Holliday in Born Yesterday, if you ever see that movie. Confident and just clueless at the same time, and adorable. I mean, and able to send out dark vibes, like this girl's got something wrong up here. But I fell out of my chair. I said, wait, on break, I said to Tim and Andrea and everybody in the booth, I said, we've got to have this woman back. She's unbelievably great. Now, I didn't have any creative, it's not like they had to listen to me, but they all loved her. And the next time she came back, she had the name Harley Quinn, and they developed the outfit and everything. And what made us all so proud was she was one of the few characters, like 3 or 4 others, that became part of DC canon, where she became accepted into, it wasn't the other way around, where we were taking from them, they took from us. And as you know, she's become what she's become, a real icon in the comic book and movie world. And ironically enough, as I leave you, my wife in the new film Life of Chuck is Mia Sara. Now, you might have seen her as a teenager when she was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She plays Ferris's girlfriend. She's delightful. And I told her, this must be a May-December romance, because I looked it up on my IMDb. I'm 16 years older than her. But nevertheless, she's playing my wife. And I discovered while we were filming, after Arlene Sorkin, she's the first person to play Harley Quinn. And she played it in live action. And, as she told me, you were in the episode. I said, what are you talking about? There was a show called Birds of Prey. And they asked me, there was another actor that was 6'2" and looked the part of the Joker. Like I said before, I can't get the part of the Joker on camera. I don't have the right look. I'm not tall enough. I don't have the bone structure, whatever it is. Their ears, not their eyes. So they had Joker in one episode of this show where she played Harley Quinn come through the door, and I think he's soft focused, and I think he's got a gun. All I knew is I came in and I dubbed 2 or 3 lines of the Joker in that episode. And it kind of was shocking to me that it's a small world. And by the way, the last question here is, when are you going to shut the F up? Right now!
Good Expo San Francisco! Let's hear it for the legend,
Anyway. Oh, really? Highs and lows? All of that stuff. And of course,